Hey, folks. This is Joe, 31 Nights of Horror Games 2020, 10th annual 31 Nights of Horror Games. The 11th annual on the stick every day in October thing. And this is Super Ghouls and Ghosts, but this isn't just any Super Ghouls and Ghosts. This is Super Ghouls and Ghosts Restoration, which is a hack by a guy by the name of SCD that restores some of the stuff that was changed for the English version. Do normal. We'll bump up the lives a bit here. And most importantly, removes the slowdown from this version. So we're going to spend about an hour with this and see how far we get. And I don't know, some of the other guys were talking about playing something else in about an hour. I don't know if they're going to stream it as well or if they're just hanging out. We'll find out, I suppose. But so there's Satan from the original Ghouls and Ghosts. He kidnaps Princess Prin Prin in this game, but you never fight him, which I've always found interesting and strange. First of all, that they made a sprite for him that never gets used again. And second, that there's no. Well, I guess it's it's kind of the same thing that I've been weird in said in two different ways. I think it's weird that they made a sprite for him, and he's not an enemy. And I guess it's weird that he shows up to kidnap the princess, and then you don't fight him. But that really is the same thing phrased two different ways. Now, this is a game I feel like I should revisit more often than I do, just kind of generally speaking. But it's also, I guess, just so often when I feel like playing a Ghouls and Ghosts or a Makaimura game. The middle one, which we know as simply Ghouls and Ghosts, or Dai Makaimura, is the one that I gravitate to way more often than anything else. Oof. Okay, could have done without that. And this one just doesn't. I like this game a lot. It's longer than Dai Makaimura, but for whatever reason, it just doesn't. Usually I think of like I'm gonna play a Ghouls and Ghosts game. It's Ghouls and Ghosts. It's this more often than it's Ghosts and Goblins. Any version, really. The arcade version is fine. The NES version is not a great port. I really, that port has its defenders for sure. I'm not one of them. That's certainly the way I originally discovered that game, but I was never good at it as a kid. So the only weapon that I would ever trade the dagger for would be the crossbow, but I'm actually not going to do that right now. I'll stick with the dagger. Although really it would be more appropriate if I was playing Ghosts and Goblins, because Ghosts and Goblins was released in the Japanese arcades apparently 35 years ago this week, so that would be the more appropriate game. But felt like checking out this hack. And I can tell that the slowdown is, this game, those skulls, those flaming skulls, they tend to slow the game down a ton. Some stuff in the chat here. Let's see here. Rhinonar says, I love 31 Nights of Horror streams, playing R-Type Dimensions on Switch, and And then he just says Game Boy Color, Ghouls, and Ghosts. Well, Game Boy Color had Ghosts and Goblins, which is a port of the Micronix NES port. Game Boy Advance had Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Oh, it sounds like somebody has joined me. But I don't know who, because I can't see Discord from where I'm sitting.
Would you describe those Ghosts and Ghouls as super?
I would describe Arthur as super, I think. Arthur is the super one here.
If you say so. You're going to have to take your word for that one.
Look, man.
I feel like the ghosts and the ghouls tend to win way more often than Arthur does.
I mean, Arthur wins in the end, though, and he's able to handle his business while he's in his underwear, so, I mean, I don't really know that there's a great argument to the contrary. How was your movie, Mike?
It was good. It was good.
What movie was it?
We were watching Enola Holmes on the Netflix. It's light, but I liked it. Also, at the very end, I noticed that it's listed Billy Bobby Brown as one of the producers, which is like, dang, girl.
Huh.
Power move.
Yeah. No kidding.
So, which of the many versions of this game, or is it the Super Nintendo only version?
This is the
Super Nintendo game?
This is a ROM hack of the Super Nintendo game.
Oh, it's the SA1 version.
There is no SA1 version, as far as I'm aware. So apparently, the reason that I'm playing this is because I listened to a Retronauts episode with John Linneman of Digital Foundry recently, where they were talking about Streets of Rage was the topic, but they were talking about how impressive Streets of Rage was compared to stuff like Final Fight, and that there were some early Super Nintendo games that just did not impress in the way that they maybe should have, including this one. And apparently, I'm told, the reason that this game slows down so much is not because it's too much for the hardware to handle. It's because Capcom's home division was still learning the finer points of the Super Nintendo's quirks, and they programmed it in a way that is not terribly efficient.
This wasn't optimized, basically?
Yeah, basically. And so the guy who did this, his name is SCD, basically just like fixed the way it was coded.
So what you're saying is that the devs were lazy?
No, actually, it sounds like... Oh, Jesus. It sounds like quite the opposite, actually. It sounds like they were... They didn't know of a better way to do it, so they did it in C or something, which is not generally how Super Nintendo games were programmed as time went on, but like that was the best way they knew how to make it work and do the things
C programming language in 1991?
Oh yeah, for sure.
It is not the fastest. It's not as fast as assembly for sure. So
right, and I don't know that I don't know that you could fit the assembly in the. I don't know the full story, but the point is that they did it in a way that was not terribly efficient. So like every
programmed the game,
maybe, but basically, I guess every instruction takes like three times as many cycles as it should to execute.
Right. Okay.
And that son of a and so that's why it slowed down so much. So yeah, this patch restores some of the graphics a little bit, but mostly it removes the slowdown, which is
when you say restores the graphics, where do they restore from?
The Japanese version, the caskets where the zombies come out at the beginning of this level, for example, have crosses on them in the Japanese version. Oh, come on.
Deboulderises them.
Yeah, so the crosses there are back, and the names of the name of the final boss, which was changed to Sardius in the U.S. version for some reason, has been changed back to Samael, which is
I don't actually know, but it sounds biblical, and I'm guessing.
Yeah, I suspect it's because that's the name of a demon, an actual demon. but whatever. I mean, that seems so weird because it wasn't like I get to an extent changing Satan and Lucifer in the other entries in the series, but Samael doesn't seem like it's really like on point enough to.
He doesn't sound like a top 5 bad guy from the Bible.
Yeah.
Top 5 Bible betrayals.
I mean, I feel like Judas would be number 1, but I think if you named a character Judas, that would probably get by. Like, that would be okay.
I wonder. I don't know, man. I wasn't Nintendo in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Told everyone at Playground I was, but... It wasn't.
You told them you were Nintendo, or you told them your uncle worked at Nintendo?
No, I'm Nintendo. I know what's coming out next because I'm Nintendo.
Yeah. I feel like they probably didn't believe that, I wouldn't believe that. Uncle who works at Nintendo, that seems, there's some level of plausible...
I grew up in the sticks, man. You can buy anything.
Wait, I forgot. Were you born in these United States?
No, I did spend 2 years living in those United States, but that was when I was like 8 and 9 years old. No, I was born in Quebec, and aside from those 2 years, have lived here my entire life. And for the first years of my life was very much in a rural place. Technically, I was born on a farm. Not on a farm. I was raised on a farm. And then
so you were not born in a barn, is what you're saying?
Not born in a barn. I was born in a hospital, but raised on a farm. Technically, wasn't really used as a farm. We had chickens when I was a kid. But that was kind of the extent of the farming. Before I was born, we had goats. And there was a big vegetable patch. And there were fields, like it was an actual, farmland. And there were years, I want to say, when the fields were rented out to people, and so they would be cultivated, but not by us.
Ah.
And then by the time I was actually really doing elementary school, we moved to the local town, but which is still pretty dang small. 2,000 people or so.
I think I missed a chest. Oh, fuck. Also, my face isn't on the stream tonight because my webcam decided that last night, apparently, October 1st was the best time my webcam could decide it was going to die.
It's just because you're too spooky for the folks. They didn't want to...
Yeah, apparently.
So, how do you like this different version of the game?
It's not as much of a literal game changer as Gradius 3. Because, like, yikes with a capital yikes on Gradius 3. Both in terms of
Gradius 3 that played that fast?
Yes, but the arcade version of Gradius 3 is also, like, infamous for how ridiculously difficult it is.
Right.
So... it's sort of like, don't know that. I mean, maybe that is what they were going for. I don't remember. I feel like I've read interviews about Gradius 3, but now I can't recall if that was one of the things where they were like, yeah, we just kind of decided like the slowdown was good actually because this game was so difficult. And
I mean, it's nice of them to have at least kind of balanced the game around that.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it feels, honestly, playing the SA1 hack of that, where it doesn't slow down at all. It almost feels like, you know, they did balance it around this idea that, you know, it was going to be a real son of a bitch.
Honestly, that's how I also feel with the Super Nintendo port of UN Squadron. The game feels balanced for the slowdown. I don't think I'd find it very hard otherwise.
I mean, Super NES UN Squadron is weird in that it is simultaneously easier and harder than the arcade version. Because you can credit feed through the arcade version. And also the final stage is like not nearly as miserably difficult in the arcade version.
In the arcade version?
Yeah.
The final stage is not that bad in UN Squadron. I don't think anything is nearly as bad as that one terrible ceiling boss.
That's true, but the whole thing where you have to like fight the big dreadnought, you know, and it takes a million shots, like that's a lot easier in the arcade version. It doesn't take nearly as many hits. It's not as doesn't have as many weak points. It's I mean, the arcade version is also super linear, so it's like you just go from stage to stage instead of having the map where you can kind of choose. But
I find that the arcade version really falls flat for me because I think that the health system in the Super Nintendo version is what makes it really good.
Yeah.
Not just the forgiving nature, but the fact that you also have to like be really on your game whenever you take damage. So just the tension kind of goes in waves, basically.
Yeah, I mean, also, I mean, the planes are much better in the Super Nintendo version because your plane is determined by which pilot you choose in
the arcade version.
In the arcade version, right? So if you take Greg, you get the tank buster, whereas, you know, in the SNES version, you can just buy the tank buster regardless, and there is no Ifrit, and there is no, you know, whatever. I don't know. I did a whole video about that game, so if people are curious, they can watch it. But I like the Super NES version as well more because I think in part, aside from that ceiling boss, which is completely unreasonable and ridiculous, by the way.
Yes, it is kind of terrible.
I don't know. I'm a milkmaid. Is better, but that boss is just so ridiculous. Like,
it's terrible. If you don't go in there with a weapon specifically designed to beat that boss, then it's just unreasonable. Ryan wants to know if you had a favorite Halloween costume that you used to dress up as a kid when you went trick-or-treating.
Boy. You know, I went as a bunch of stuff when I was a kid. The one that I went as most frequently, which I guess would sort of default into being a favorite in that way, was I went as a clown a bunch of times when I was like very little.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I don't know if that just sort of de facto becomes the favorite because it was the one that I did the most amount of times. But
did you like it?
That was really before I had a choice, I think. You know, like when you're really little and it's just like, this is what you're going as. So I'm not sure that I have a good answer for that. I went as Dracula one year. That was, I remember that. I went as a mummy one year. Red Arimer.
He goes Dracula, or he goes Dr. Acula?
Yes. Both of those things. I think I went as a Ninja Turtle one year, probably. I went as Raphael.
Say that's kind of a tough costume to pull off.
Well, I had there was you know, a toy set that you could get that had like a mask with like a turtle nose, you know, on it, okay. And like plastic size, and and I think like a thing with a like a plastic turtle shell or something. Well, I don't remember if that was an actual Halloween costume or just a toy that I had. You know. So, Yeah, I don't know. All my best Halloween, I mean, like the good Halloween costumes, the one that I actually put effort into and everything, were as an adult. So, and I didn't go trick or treating. I probably don't need to say that. I didn't go trick or treating as an adult, but I didn't go trick or treating as an adult. But yeah, a few years ago, I went to my work Halloween party as Two-Face from Batman, which required getting up like several hours before I normally would for work, and well, yeah. I mean, I wasn't really sitting in the makeup chair because I was the one doing the makeup, so. But yeah, doing the liquid latex work and the makeup on top of that, and I shaved half my beard for that.
Right.
and I remember a girl I worked with was like, where's your beard on that side? I was like, what do you mean, where is it? Like, she thought it was like under the makeup somehow.
It's in the sink.
Yeah, I was like, it's down the drain, lady. It's gone. So in the original version of this game, the unmodified version of this game, another source of the slowdown is these guys these weird bear monsters that spit the fire.
Yeah.
And even there, in this version, unleashing the magic got a little bit of slowdown, but not much, all things considered.
I didn't watch last time. I used the magic to charge it up. So yeah, are there any of these slowdown free hacks that you have kind of adopted as being just the version you want to play now?
I mean, this one might be based on how much I'm enjoying it so far, but the Contra 3 SA1 hack for sure is...
Yeah.
Is my preferred way to play that game at this point. Because that one is where, like, a lot of the slowdown in that game is, like, it's not like Gradius 3 where it's, like, to your advantage. It's mostly just annoying in places where it really doesn't do you any favors. It's just, like, like when you're climbing the wall against that thing that climbs the wall with you and shoots the missiles at you. It's like,
yes. Yeah, that part's like
climbing this thing is not hard. It just takes a long time. Oh, you son of a... Gotcha. Yeah, that sequence is just like, it's just annoying to like wait for the thing to climb the wall, and then like the actual fight isn't really affected that much, and so it's just like I just don't want to wait.
Yeah. Well, as long as finally it doesn't make the game that much harder, then...
Yeah, it's not like Gradius 3. Gradius 3, I don't know that... I mean, if I loved Gradius 3 a whole bunch, I would probably try to learn the SA1 hack version, just cuz, but, like, I don't love Gradius 3 enough to do that. And I've always thought that, I mean, it is riddled with slowdown, and that's, like, an undeniable fact, but, it's still pretty fun. I still remember once I got a comment on my first 5 Reasons Super Nintendo video that includes Space Megaforce, aka Super Aleste. And I mentioned that it doesn't have any slowdown, and someone was like, so what? That's not that big of a deal. Gradius 3 doesn't have any slowdown. And I'm like, have you played Gradius 3? Like, I can tell you've only played Gradius 3 on like a shitty emulator, because that's the only way that game doesn't have slowdown, is in a super inaccurate emulator version. That, basically...
Is that common on emulators, that it speeds up?
To some degree, because like all it's doing is like it's using the full processing power of your computer basically, which is enough to play that game at full speed. So a poorly emulated version of that game will not slow down. But of course, anybody who's actually played it on real hardware knows that it just absolutely slows to a complete crawl. That's one of my favorite graphical effects on the Super Nintendo, by the way. The twisting towers, which are actually not, it's just a background, and you can tell by the way items scroll off the screen that it is like very much not doing really anything. It is just a background effect, but it's a really impressive one for the time, for such an early.
Looks better than those PlayStation 4 stages from Mega Man X4 that do the same thing.
Yeah.
What I mean? So that split mushroom? Honestly?
Yeah. Yep. Oh man, but that game is super good anyways, though.
It is, but that stage is really janky.
Speaking of graphical effects, we're about to get some of that raw 1991 Mode 7. We gotta show off how we can use the... I love that both Capcom and Konami had first year Super NES games that were spooky themed and just abused the hell out of Mode 7. Yeah. Just, it's just like we got a spooky thing, and it's got to use the Mode 7 to rotate a room for some reason.
Because we can. It's just mind blown.
But I mean, what's funny is like the first time I played this game and made it this far, like my mind was blown. Like I was like, I can't believe.
There you go. So why give him a hard time over this? They knew what you needed.
Yeah, no, I mean, need is probably not exactly the word I would use on that. I don't think I needed Mode 7. I just wanted it. I mean, that's the thing about talking a lot about old games or spending a lot of time playing old games when you also still play new games is like the perspective of what impressed us back then is just so crazy. Like,
I remember the first time I played Final Fantasy VII, I was hyper impressed that they could change the camera angle.
Yes, absolutely. I was,
like
my mind was...
An early game where you're in an elevator and the angle is like above you, and it's like, whoa!
Yeah, the everything about that game, except maybe the materia system, but even that kind of at the time blew me away. Like, I was just so impressed by that game. This is the will give you motion sickness with Mode 7 portion of the game.
Oh, I see. Ugh. I'm gonna stop watching it.
It's over on my screen now. It only does the tilting stuff for a little while. And I never know... Oh, no, never mind. It's back. I also never remember where any of the chests are in this section because it's an auto-scroller, so I'm like, well... I can never remember, like, where exactly do I jump during this weird auto-scroller to get the chests to pop up? So I'm just not going to sweat it. Although, I will say, I'm actually quite interested to see how this boss turns out, because... the boss of this stage is the Hydra, and it's one of the most slowdown-ridden sections of the game normally. So I'm actually really curious, and I'm about to find out, I guess. Hopefully I can do this without taking a hit, although I seem to recall this boss isn't that difficult. Well, that might be relying on the slowdown. Come on. Definitely jumped on that. Definitely jumped. But anyways,
you got a lot of lives. Is that an option that's in the base game, or is that
yeah, you can go up to 9 lives per credit. Which, This
I
game
thought you were a
isn't...
knight, not a cat.
You thought what?
I thought you were a knight, not a cat.
Yeah, well, but why not both?
Rhino asks if you're going to be playing the 7th guest for 31 nights.
Whoa!
Probably don't know yet.
I don't know yet, and I didn't know that platform was going to disappear if I stood on it for too long. Yeah, I don't know. The 7th Guest is a weird game for me because it is one of those... I played it at my cousin. My cousin had a Mac, and it was one of those games along with Myst when I was a kid. That was one of the sort of very early multimedia experiences that I had.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things where it's just like... I mean, not entirely dissimilar to what I'm playing right now, where the first time I saw it, my mind was blown. But also... This game is still good because it's a good-ass Capcom action game, and 7th Guest is, like, maybe not...
It's basically a collection of puzzles with a kind of weird horror story in between them.
Yeah, right.
You know, low rent, basically. I think at this point it's kind of fun to go back to because it's so weird and dated.
The only puzzle that I remember is the sliding tile cake puzzle. That's the only one that
I think that's the first one that comes to mind for me too. There's one with soup cans. I don't remember what it is. You have to like make a message out of soup cans and each have like one letter on them or something like that.
I have no memory of that whatsoever.
I don't know. Yeah, I enjoyed that game when it was new.
Yeah, same. But again, I didn't own it. It was, you know, it was my cousin's, and it was one of those things where it was just like, wow, look at the graphics, man. Because, you know, a Windows or a Mac at that time, I guess, was, as I said, he had a Mac. Like a good Mac at that time with a good monitor was outputting, you know, way more impressive graphics than even, you know, a Sega CD, which was, I think, you know, what I was probably the most awesome thing that I owned at the time.
I also played it at a friend's house. I didn't have a CD-ROM for probably a couple years after that.
Nice catch.
Rhino said this level looks like something out of a Clive Barker movie.
Yeah, it kind of does. I have such sights to show you. I mean, really, this whole game has kind of Clive Barker vibes over it. You know, it's no tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
I was gonna say, have you picked up Hades again, or at all?
When you say again,
I thought that you had Hades.
I do. I bought it when it came out. I bought it when it came out on the Epic Store, when it was like $20 or whatever.
Right.
I never played it, and I still have not played it.
Well, you gotta change that.
I should. Oh, lovely. Not only did I get dropped a whole floor, but I landed on top of a weapon that I didn't really want. So that's swell. I feel like when I was a kid, this level was sort of like the prime stopping point for me.
I don't think I've ever made it even close to this level, so I'm very proud of you.
Thanks, Mike.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I still haven't played Hades, and I really need to. I really would like to do that.
Well, I'm playing Hades, and it's not going so good. But I had a very good run last night.
Yeah.
Finally beat the stupid Hydra at the end of the second world, which is not something that I ever managed back when I was first playing the game. I played the game for just a little while when it was, oh, for the love of God, I just walked into the lava and wasted my free revive. Yeah, I played it for about 5 hours about 2 years ago, and I liked it a lot, but I was like, I'm just going to wait till this is done, because I could tell that I was going to want to come back to it once everything was in place. And back then, I could never beat the stupid Hydra, and this time, at least, I managed that much. So that's...
Oh, now I'm going to get a different weapon that I don't want. Cool. That's good. The next time I have a good weapon, Mike, remind me not to open that first chest.
I'll, yeah, or die. Don't do that either. in here. I gotta tell you though, Joe, as good as Hades is right now, I have to kind of force myself to play it because I would just keep on playing Kaizo games, I think.
Yeah, I saw that there is a Kaizo hack for Mario 64, Mike.
Yeah, sure. Can't claim that I'm necessarily into that. Mario 64 is hard enough as it is, I think. Oh, are we already at the Hydra? Oh, I was really hoping to do something to get me some health back here. I don't think I'm gonna be able to beat the Hydra in this condition. Wish I had $200 to get that weapon upgrade. Oh. I hate the River of Fire. Alright, I'm not going to be able to watch what you're doing for a little while, I'm afraid.
That's fine.
Boss time.
So you know what I've been playing that I've been really... Oh, son of a bitch! That I've been really enjoying is Mario 35. Super Mario 35.
Yeah, that thingamage came out, like, what, last night?
Came out yesterday, yeah.
But, like, I saw people started talking about playing it, like, during the night. Or maybe people who were in Japan, I don't remember, but... yeah, how's that working out? I kind of wanted to try getting in on that in the first week before everyone gets really good, but...
So here's the thing about it. If you're already good at Super Mario Brothers, that's, like, not really a thing. Like, there's very little that's specific... There you go, that's what I'm looking for.
You're saying that Mario's skill does not carry over? Or?
No, I'm saying it does carry over. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, you're saying that people are not going to get better at this game unless they just get good at Mario?
Right. Because the main thing is, like, you're basically set into, like, yeah. Oh no. Fuck me. You're basically dropped into, at the beginning, you know, when you first start, you're 1-1, world 1-1, and you have to get out of there. But the twist is that every enemy that the other 34 people who are playing kill can
go somewhere.
It goes somewhere. Yeah. So obviously, as the game goes on, when you're the 34th, you know, last person still
Survivor.
alive,
You're probably getting
you're getting everything because the other person. There's nobody else for the other person to be sending enemies to, so they're all just coming straight to you, but you're also given everything. And the thing that's great about it is that there's a timer element. Like, I got stuck in what was basically like an unwinnable situation earlier tonight, and it was just sort of like, well, yeah, I just kind of got to deal with it, because if I just stand here, I'll run out of time and die anyways. So, like, I have to try to get, like, sneak past this enemy that's got me boxed in, even though I'm almost certainly going to die doing so. Because if I don't, like, I'm hosed anyway. So, it's very smartly designed, honestly. For like, it. Son of a bitch. And that's before the checkpoint, isn't it? No, like, game over anyway, so I think it's going to send me back. I don't remember if this game sends you back on a game over. Or if you get to keep your checkpoint. Well, it doesn't look like I made the checkpoint anyways. Yeah, it's very smartly designed, honestly. I've already won a handful of games. I think I've won 3 or 4 times now. And, you know, I mean, there's certainly... I mean, like I said, like, if you're just, like, pretty good at, you know, 8-bit 2D platformers, like, you're gonna be fine. Mm-hmm. There's not, like, an additional skill set, but there is some, like, level of, like, you know, there are certain strategies that I found are, like, pretty good. Like,
I mean, you say that, but the game's been out for 24 hours, so maybe a week from now there will be strategies that you just haven't thought of yet.
That's true. That's possible. I mean, it's still Super Mario Brothers at its core, so I don't, but like what I've found works for me pretty well is if you so I mean, there's a roulette mechanic where, like, if you have 20 coins, you can basically get like a Mario Kart style item box.
Yeah.
And it can have like a super mushroom, a POW block, a star, or a fire flower in it. And like the Starman is like, if somebody drops a bunch of stuff at you, getting a Starman at that point is super advantageous, because not only do you, so part of the mechanics is like you get more time on your clock for enemies that you take out, but like doing it with a fire flower only gets you 1 extra second per enemy, whereas like bouncing on enemies starts you at 2, and for each consecutive enemy you bop without touching the ground, you get another second.
Oh, nice.
And actually, I think that's probably what will end up being one of the higher level strats, will be people trying to like line up as many enemies as they can and bounce on them until they have like, until they're getting like 30-second bonuses for every enemy.
It's called the domino effect. Ask your parents about it.
Right. And then just like...
That's a reference to the manual for Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, come on. But do that and then just kind of... wait and just like don't do anything, just like hang out and like drain the clock. Right. That could be a viable strategy, I guess, but again, like for me, Super Mario Brothers is not difficult enough that standing still would be a satisfactory strategy for me.
That's how you want to play the game.
Yeah. So
well, I should give it a try. You can get it.
It's free.
Get a week-long trial of the online. I don't have the online service because I don't know what I would do with the online service.
Play a bunch of Super NES and NES games.
Yeah, because I don't have any other way of doing that. Some more Doom. You know how much I love Doom.
Ugh.
Yeah, there aren't any online games that I'm super into right now either.
Yeah, I don't know, that one, yeah, I don't know if you can get the trial and check it out, like,
yeah, I should play it for a week, I guess. It's more just the time that's missing rather than anything else. I've already got like 3 other games that I'm into that I want to play, so kind of not super motivated to try other stuff right now.
Yeah, I mean, I need to pick up Hades. I need one of the games for this.
Hades is really good.
Yeah,
and it's a lot of engaging, immediate fun. I died.
Sorry to hear that.
It's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate.
Dad's gonna make fun of me again.
What a jerk. I'm walking into another boss fight with no armor. Let's see how this goes.
Your confidence is your armor.
Wow. I have a good weapon for this boss, at least. Come on. How much damage can you take, man? Good lord. Just die already. There he goes. Eat it. Guess you're right, Mike. Guess you're right.
What am I right about? Sorry?
My confidence being my armor.
Yeah, that's right. There you go. You don't take no guff from no ice gargoyle.
Rhinonar says, I hate snow levels in video games. You know, I was just talking about this the other night when we were streaming on Wednesday, but like the 2 ice levels in Super Mario 64 are some of my favorites. And actually, that one isn't bad either. That one doesn't have ice physics, the one I just played in Super Ghouls and Ghosts, so it's not that bad because there's no ice physics. Because the thing that ruins snow levels is ice physics. You know, nobody likes ice physics.
I don't always hate ice physics. The Flashband stage is okay.
That's because the control is so good in Mega Man 2 that like you barely notice.
Well, you know,
at least that's my working theory.
Make a good game.
Yeah, right. Son of a bitch. Is there not? There's got to be another chest down here somewhere. Was there? I swore there was another chest down there. Yeah, whatever. Nope, not that.
How many stages are there in this game?
7, I believe.
You haven't already gone through 7 stages?
Not quite. Oh, come on.
I will say for Hades that this game plays amazingly and looks wonderful, but the voice acting strikes me as a little, I don't know, feels a little too community theater for my liking.
Yeah. Hey man, that's how all voice acting used to be. You remember that?
I guess. I don't know. I guess everyone's maybe hamming it up a little bit because they're playing classical Greek gods and different characters, but something about it that kind of rubs me the wrong way.
Oh god, I forgot there even was an axe in this game. And it sucks, just like in every Ghosts and Goblins game. The axe is garbage. It almost feels like an inside joke at some point. Like, yeah, we put an axe in there again. But
like
it's
Caden
trash. I'm sorry?
I said, like Caden in Mass Effect 3. Cameristica says, Happy Friday. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, Cameristica.
Rhino says that Donkey Kong Country has bad snow levels. Between you and me, Donkey Kong has bad all levels.
Yeah, Donkey Kong Country has nothing but bad levels, in my estimation.
I don't like that game.
I don't either.
I think it looks horrendous, and I don't like the physics.
Yep. And it's super collecty, like all those rare platformers.
Yes.
Rather than traversing the stages, it's all about collect every damn knick-knack that the game shoves in your face, and That doesn't trip my trigger, I'm afraid.
I don't even like Yoshi's Island because that game is so intense on you collecting everything.
That one is, I'm not gonna say it's definitely not as bad as Adventure of Link, but I bounce off of every time I try to get into Yoshi's Island. Every time I pick it back up, I bounce off of it in like the first 2 worlds, and I'm just like, yeah, just not feeling this.
It's just kind of slow, and they want you to spend your time exploring every little nook and cranny in the entire level, which just means everything takes much too long for me.
Yeah.
What can I say?
Yeah, that makes a good deal of sense.
What was that weird sound that you're magic charging?
Yes. That's my magic charging. Okay, Astaroth, come get some.
The last boss?
No. You have to play through the game twice, Mike. Come on.
Do you get a different boss when you play it the second time?
Yeah, you always do. There's always like an almost final boss, and then it's like, oh, it's a illusion.
It takes up the whole screen.
Yeah, and this one, he's 2 screens tall in this one, actually. Samael, you have to like ride magically appearing platforms up to his face to shoot him. That was the second to last stage, apparently.
Oh, okay.
That's right, because this climb up this thing is ridiculous without the weapon that I have now. Which is the homing crossbow. But if you're stuck with something else, this is like not a fun section at all, because these little demons, imps come out of the walls, and
That's your day up.
yeah. Much like I was talking about in Castlevania last night when I was playing the PSP remake of Rondo. The whole bit on Castlevania and on this game to some extent is giving you a hero with like extremely limited movement and then making him face down enemies who are considerably more mobile than he is.
How did you play that anyway? Do you have a PSP 2000?
I do. I have the God of War one with the Kratos face on the battery cover and a TV out set of cables. So
I do not recall the specifics. I just know that there was a version that had TV cables.
yeah. Oh great.
I actually don't even know what version of PSP I have. Come to think of it.
There are 2 versions, I think. The 2000 and the 3000 both had TV out, didn't they? And maybe the Go as well?
I just couldn't tell you which version I have that has PSP because I haven't used it in a while. I need to probably just rest for now. So this is the fake final boss?
This is the fake final boss. This is where everybody runs out of time. This is where the timer on your second run, when you have the ultimate weapon, the timer is your biggest enemy here. Because getting close enough to this dude to actually hit him with the ultimate weapon is such a chore that people run out the clock and can't get in the final boss room.
Ooh.
And now Princess Prin Prin will explain.
Nice catch. Oh, Arthur.
But not even you can defeat that fiend, Samael, without
That's Samael. That's
the
Samael.
goddess bracelet.
I do not like that Samael.
I once wore the bracelet. Well, if you were wearing the bracelet, how did he kidnap you? Prin Prin, come on. I mean, come on.
Is her name Prin Prin?
Her name is Princess Prin Prin, yes. You would assume, since his name is Arthur, her name would be Guinevere, but no. Princess Prin Prin. Okay. Can we speed this up a little bit, Prin Prin?
I was gonna say, if you speedrun this game, this looks like a 30-year time right there.
I don't know if I can... Yeah, apparently, because I can't press start to skip it.
He's come back here with the bracelet. So now do you have to find the bracelet, or are you just gonna get it for sure?
It'll pop up. With these games, it always pops up. Like, it'll probably be I'll probably get it in the first stage, which actually I was just toying with the idea of, like, calling it a night, but then I was like, well, no, I'll get the goddess bracelet so everybody can see what it looks like.
And then you just have that weapon for the rest of the game, or?
There are a lot of high-level strategies, I believe, tend to often favor, like, getting it and then not getting it and then just making sure you get it again before you get... Because the only requirement is that you have it when you enter the final boss room. So... there are players... The thing that's nice about it, though, is that a fully charged goddess bracelet, which means basically if you have the bronze or gold armor, it can eat enemy projectiles, which is really convenient.
I don't like this whole rich get richer thing in this game where you get better stuff the better you're playing.
I mean, a lot of games are like that, Mike. It's not...
I don't like games that give you crap the worse you're doing. That's why I don't really enjoy Gradius.
Well, Gradius doesn't give you worse stuff the worse you're playing. It just doesn't give you anything.
No, it's just as soon as you lose a life, you're screwed.
You're kind of hosed.
The game gets harder the worse you do.
The worse you do, the harder it is. That's absolutely true.
They get this bracelet so I can see this and go to bed.
I thought you were staying up to play. There you go.
No, my son fell asleep very early tonight, like 7:30, which is like 3 hours earlier than usual for him, and so I am not very. I'm not looking forward to what time he wakes up tomorrow.
Aha.
So I'm not going to take a chance. Anyway, Kurt said he didn't think he was going to stay up, so we'll save the.
Well, this is it, Mike. You're seeing it now. If you're not.
All right. Well, then do the charge move.
Oh, you can't. That's the thing. It doesn't charge. So when it's fully. So now, it would go less. Like if I lose my armor, it won't go to the edge of the screen, and it will also not eat enemy projectiles at that point. But right now, enemy bullets or whatever, maybe I can let one of these things swell up big enough to shoot.
So this doesn't seem as good as some of the other weapons that you had earlier then.
I'm not shooting. I mean, in terms of like raw DPI, or DPS rather, it is the best weapon in the game for sure. It does way more damage than anything else.
It's good for killing bosses.
It's good for killing bosses. It's even good for killing like these spiky pustules, like, you know, with the dagger they take however many hits they take, but, you know, with the Goddess Bracelet it's one shot and they're done. But yeah, hopefully I can make it to the boss intact and you'll be able to see firsthand exactly what it does to bosses. And I have, so let's see, just gotta jump over this hill. Well, this boss doesn't shoot anything at me, so I can't give you a good shot of, like... Or rather, it spits eggs, but those would be consumed by the...
You killed the thing's baby, man. That is cold.
Sure did. There's a 1-up. I like the sound of that. So yeah, it's been hanging out for about an hour here. You've seen the full game except for the final boss. So I think I'll call it a night here. Let Mike go to bed, and then I'm gonna watch some wrestling maybe, or a scary movie. I'm gonna take a shower. Might walk my dogs. I don't know. But thanks everyone for hanging out.
The world is your oyster, Joe.
Really, it is. Thanks everyone for hanging out, and we'll be back tomorrow with something else.
Bye-bye.